It was speckled with hard frisbees of cowpat and was so high up you could almost look down our chimney. Our parents were not so keen on the field. "But I'll be perfectly safe," Hannah would insist in that bossy little voice. How I missed that voice. "I'll have Alex with me." Hannah's best friend spent most of her time at our house. "And Sarah. She can protect us if any murderers come." As if I were a well-built man with a reliable right hook. "And you won't have to make our dinner if we go camping. Or our breakfast." Hannah was like a tiny bulldozer. She never ran out of counter-arguments, and our parents inevitably gave in. At first they camped in the field with us, but eventually, as I fought on through the knotted jungle of adolescence, they allowed Hannah and Alex to sleep up there alone, with me as bodyguard. We would lie in Dad's old festival tent, a lumbering thing made of orange canvas like a small bungalow, and listen to the symphony of sounds in the grass outside. Often, I'd stay awake long after my little sister and her friend had slackened into sleep, wondering what kind of protection I'd actually be able to offer were someone to burst in. The necessity of protecting Hannah, not just as she slept in this tent, but always, felt like molten rock in my stomach, a volcano barely contained. And yet, what would I actually do? Karate chop them with my teenage wrist? Stab them with a marshmallow toasting stick? Often hesitant, not entirely certain of herself, was how my form tutor had described me on a report. "Well, that's really bloody useful," Mum had said, in the voice she normally reserved for telling off our father. "Ignore her, Sarah. Be as uncertain as you like. That's what your teenage years are for." Exhausted eventually by the competing forces of protectiveness and powerlessness, I'd fall asleep, waking early to assemble whatever disgusting combination of things Hannah and Alex had packed for their infamous breakfast sandwich. I laid a hand on my chest, dimmed the lights on the memory. It wasn't an evening for sadness. It was an evening for now. For Eddie and me, and the great, still-growing thing between us. I concentrated on the sounds of a woodland clearing at night. Invertebrate rustle, mammalian shuffle. The green whisper of moving leaves, the untroubled rise and fall of Eddie's breath. I listened to his heart, beating evenly through his jumper, and marvelled at his steadiness. "More will be revealed," my father always liked to say about people. "You have to watch and wait, Sarah." But I'd been watching this man for a week, and I hadn't sensed any disquiet. In many ways, he reminded me of the me I'd trained myself to be at work. Solid, rational, untroubled by the shifting tides of the non-profit sector. But I was someone who'd spent years practicing, whereas Eddie seemed simply to be that way. I wondered if he could hear the excitement careening around in my chest. A matter of days ago I'd been separated, approaching divorce, approaching 40. Then this. Him. "Oh, a badger," I said, as a low shape shuffled across the darkened edge of my vision. "I wonder if it's Cedric." "Cedric?" "Yes, although I suppose it probably isn't him. How long do badgers live?" "I think about 10 years. Eddie was smiling. I could hear it. "Well, then it's definitely not Cedric. But it could be his son. Or maybe grandson." I paused. We loved Cedric. A vibration of laughter traced through his body, into mine. "Who's we?" "Me and my little sister. We used to camp quite near here." He rolled over onto his side, his face close to mine, and I could see it in his eyes. "Cedric the Badger. You," he said quietly. He traced a finger along my hairline. "I like you. I like you and me. In fact, I like you and me very much."